Good evening, welcome everyone. We'll call our regular meeting for September 7th to order. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Publics Meeting Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given in the new schedule of meetings of the Spotswood Borough Council on December 28th, 2015. The new schedule was transmitted to the Home News Tribune and Sentinel. It was filed with the Clerk of the Borough of Spotswood and posted in the municipal building located at 77 Summerhill Road, Spotswood, New Jersey. As Ed mentioned during our caucus, we're approaching the 15th year anniversary of 9/11 and how our world has changed since then. I know we all remember where we were that day. The good souls that we lost on that day and so many more in the battles that followed, including our own Michael Gonzalez right in town. So during our moment of silence, if you could remember those people in your thoughts and prayers and pray for a safer and a peaceful world.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Councilman Seeley.
Here.
Councilwoman Rhodes.
Here.
Councilman Ritchie.
Here.
Councilman Service. Council President Stolen.
Here.
Mayor Policino.
The mayor is ill tonight. He won't be in, and Leo had a conflict in his schedule, and unfortunately, he apologizes. He won't be able to be here tonight.
Okay, we have the minutes from August 15, 2016, regular meeting.
Make a motion, we move the minutes. Second.
Councilman Seeley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes.
Abstain.
Councilman Ritchie.
Yes.
Council President Stolen.
Yes.
We have an ordinance on second reading. Ordinance 2016-12 was posted in the Spotswood Municipal Building on August 16, 2016, and advertised in full in the Home News Tribune on August 19th. Public hearing was set for September 7th. Bond ordinance providing for various water, sewer, utility improvements, including the acquisition and installation of valves and hydrants, appropriating $100,000, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $100,000 bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof, authorized in and by the Borough of Spotswood in the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
Need a motion to open it for the public hearing?
Second.
Councilman Seeley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie.
Yes.
Council President Stolen.
Yes. This is for repairing hydrants and valves in town, and the nice part is the way we're currently staffed, that this is for parts, and our road department and water department is going to actually handle the installation, so it's significant savings in that part. Any questions on this ordinance? Seeing none?
Make a motion, we close the public portion. Second.
Second.
Councilman Seeley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie.
Yes.
Council President Stolen.
Yes, I make a motion we pass this ordinance on second reading and publish it according to law. Second?
Second.
Councilman Seeley.
Yes.
Councilwoman Rhodes.
Yes.
Councilman Ritchie.
Yes.
Council President Stolen.
Yes.
We have resolutions under consent agenda. They're on the table. If anyone wants to take one, they may. Council President and council members, I'll take a motion to accept resolutions 2016-138 through 2016-142 and 143 and 144 with the corrections. The numbers are switched with the corrections, and I'll make them in the office tomorrow. And resolution 2016-144 and 146.
Make a motion, we move the resolutions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We do have a proclamation. Does anyone care to read it?
Yes, Marge is going to read that.
Because I have ovaries. Whereas ovarian cancer, the deadliest of the gynecological cancers, ranks 5th in cancer deaths among women in the United States. Experts predict that about 22,280 women will receive a new diagnosis of ovarian cancer in 2016, with more than half of those being women over the age of 63. Of those, about 14,240 will die. And whereas ovarian cancer is more treatable when detected early, but only 25% of ovarian cancer cases in the United States are diagnosed in the early stages. This is often because symptoms are easily confused with other diseases and because no reliable, easily administered tool exists. And whereas the 5-year survival rate for 75% of the women diagnosed with advanced disease is only 27%. However, the 5-year survival rate for stage 1 disease patients is nearly 92%, and for stage 2 disease patients, it is 72%. Currently, 50% of women diagnosed with ovarian cancer die from it within 5 years. Among African American women, only 48% survive 5 years or more. And whereas early detection of this disease remains the best way to save women's lives and is not normally diagnosed with routine pelvic and Pap exams, symptoms may include abdominal pressure or bloating, persistent digestive problems, excessive fatigue, frequent urination, and sometimes abdominal bleeding. Women also should be aware that risk factors are higher for those who are over 50 years of age, who have a personal or family history of ovarian, breast, or colon cancer, and who have borne a child. And whereas it is appropriate to commend the scientists, physicians, and other medical and health professionals who are working to advance knowledge and understanding of ovarian and other gynecological cancers, it is also appropriate to encourage all Borough of Spotswood residents to learn more about the disease and the importance of early detection, as this can save lives and protect the health and well-being of countless women. And whereas prominent buildings across North America and the world will turn their lights teal or display teal ribbons to raise awareness for ovarian cancer. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Nicholas Policino, Mayor of the Borough of Spotswood, do hereby proclaim September as Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month and urge all citizens to turn the town teal in the Borough of Spotswood. Dated September 7th, 2016, and I so heartily support this. The earlier cancer is caught, the better the outcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Marge. Comments for the regular meeting, Ted?
I talked about the engineering already, so the only thing really I want to talk about, just a reminder for anybody here that wants to participate, we have our 5K run this Saturday at 8:30 a.m. at the high school. So if anyone wants to join, please come out.
It's going to be a hot one.
If you're a runner, you don't care.
Ed?
Yes, on August 25th, I attended the Senior Olympics, which was a rather enjoyable day because I had a lot of good laughs, had a good laugh, saw a lot of good laughing, actually saw me with a mop. It was
I
my
got a
job for the
picture
day.
too.
Yes.
I got lots of
I
pictures.
have it up here if anybody wants to see it.
Cleaning up from the water event. But I have to commend Barbara Cottrell and her staff of Diane Spiegelhoff, Diane Wells, Sierra Wells, Amanda Miller, Maggie Miller, and not to forget, because she didn't put her name in here for some reason, Beth Blatt.
Yeah.
But doing an excellent job. It seems Mrs. Cottrell, who used to work for our school system,
Yes.
put this together mostly by, most of the work herself. And I'd like to see us do a proclamation for her at our next meeting in honor of this. And that was for that. The other was, like I told you, I had attended the senior club meeting, which now I'm a proud member of. And we talked about 911. And they had their opinions, which were very vocal, very loud. It was almost like my mother was yelling at me again, which I enjoyed somewhat. And with that, I spoke and took the lead, and I have arranged for a 911 service, 7 p.m. behind the Borough Hall this Sunday. There'll be a PA system. There'll be the Reverend will be there to give a service. There'll be a soloist singer there, just to name a few things. There's a couple other things going to happen, but if you're interested in coming, it is a candlelight vigil. The only thing I would ask is I'm live in the air. Bring a candle if you have one, because getting candles last minute is kind of tough. So if we got a few, but not a lot. So if you could bring a candle, it would be appreciated. And I hope to see everybody there.
Thank you, Ed. Very nice.
And I think, well, I think that's it, because Marge is liaison to the,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't want to go any
Marge.
further on this.
I gotta say, I agree totally with you. The Senior Olympics were cool. I wasn't able to make it, but Ed was there. And the javelin was, what do you call those?
Pool noodle.
The pool noodles. They had water guns. They did, I mean, it was so innovative, all the different things that they came up with to host the Senior Olympics. It was amazing, because I just love the Olympics. So I was glued to the set for 2 weeks watching that. And then to see them take some of those activities and make them into a friendly competition within the confines of the walls of the senior center was so neat to see. And the pictures say 1,000 words. Do you have all the pictures printed out, or just Ed's?
Right there, no, all of them.
Oh, okay.
Anybody
So
wants to
really, if
look
you
at
want a
them.
nice laugh, we have a person who loves photography, so she focused in on some of those folks who participated, and a fun time was really had by all, because I went to a meeting down there for the survey, and they were still talking about how successful it was. So again, a great community asset, the senior center, and here is their newsletter, and it is chock full of different activities you can partake in. But I'm going to pass these out. These are the survey return, we got the returns we distributed throughout town. Oh, how many is here? Take that way, and let me just have one. Bruce, give that to Dawn, and here's one for you. So we met actually this past week and reviewed all of the surveys that we got back, which were close to 200, which is terrific. And actually sending the brochure out with the tax bills. How many of you got them in your tax bills? Yeah? We got such positive feedback, because there was so many people that didn't know about the center, and getting it that way, they actually got some new signups and memberships to come to the center. So there was 155 who said they knew about the center, and there was 26 who said they didn't. We had 146 say they used the services of the Office on Aging, and 48 said no. And we asked why. Why don't you use it? Well, 23 said they didn't know about it. 14 said they were still working. Parking was 1. Transportation was 6. Lack of interest was 8. And other was 17. And those other comments encompassed health problems, being a caregiver, being too busy, they're not in New Jersey a lot, unresponsive, center, stopped getting newsletters, too old, don't qualify for services, recently retired, income limit, unavailable, work full-time, too busy, unlimited knowledge about the services. So we asked, would you utilize the center in the evening? Yes, said 92, no, said 84, unsure were 7. And then what time in the evening would you like to see it open? And we got gamuts all over the place. The Wednesday was the most put down day that they would like to see it. And they went from 1 in the afternoon up till, I think, 11 at night, right? So we'll have to come to a happy medium if we do consider that. But it was just good to get all this feedback. So we asked them, what do you want to come here for? What do you think would be good? And they said 105 said educational and health programs. So that is truly a draw for the center, and they do a lot of that programming that's already embedded in that center, because I know my mobile health unit staff is out there doing a lot of screenings, and I know Robert Wood is there doing a lot of screenings. Cards and games was 59, exercise programs was 87. Socialization and camaraderie was 81. Program eligibility was 56. So they got to see if they qualify for Medicare, all kinds of questions about benefits and retirement. And other was 41. And those responses included having Wi-Fi, doing bus trips, having crafts, having a computer that they're able to sit on and use, because a lot of these seniors do not have personal computers. Entertainment they come for, they'd like to come for music, movies, DJ and dancing, yoga and art. So really a nice wide spectrum of different activities. And a lot of these we currently do during the day. General discussions, potluck dinners, ping pong, and bingo were also mentioned. So the age range of those who responded to the survey, there was, the bulk of them were 76 and older, but 51 of them were 71 to 75, 29 of them were 61 to 70, and that's where I fit in, and 13 answered 55 to 60. Males, we had 34 answer, female, 136 answered, and declined was 19. So I want you all to take a look at this, because I think Dawn and I and Janine are going to have a discussion and look at resources for expanding the hours at the senior center one night a week, probably Wednesday, because that seems to be the most in demand. And whether we shuffle the day that day to encompass like a 1 to 8 schedule rather than an 8 to 4 schedule, or we do some kind of a thing where we have Janine there during the day, and then Beth Blatt changes her hours to come there and stay in the evening. I think that's going to be on the table, because that's not really going to utilize a lot of expenses at first. We talked about actually doing transportation, and with the part-time driver, we're going to see if that can be wangled, and if not, we're hoping this is a younger crowd that would be coming, because these are maybe younger people that are working during the day, and if we make it available in the evening for these kinds of activities, perhaps they can drive themselves. So I just wanted to share this with the council. We had a great discussion. We involved what's her name?
Lillian Ash.
Lillian Ash and Sue Kane. So the leaders of both senior groups were involved with crafting this survey, and also involved with, looking at all the survey results and coming up with some plans. So they're on board, really. And I just wanted to present this to the council and see if you had any questions about it. Anything?
No, very good idea.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. So we do a lot with nothing in this town, so we'll make it work, and I'll work closely with Dawn and the mayor to make sure that we proceed to do that. And I think our first evening, we're going to start it off with a nice big talk from someone who on a topic that's really good, and maybe we'll do some health screenings just to grab people in. So just be looking for that as we proceed. Sometime in the fall, I'll work closely with Dawn to make that happen. The other thing that I've been involved in, I was a judge for a chili cook-off. Now, I'm not a chili fan because I don't like hot stuff, but I got to tell you, the Legion had a fundraiser, Flo's Chili Cook-Off. It was Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago, and Marion Barbarese from EMS and John something, who's the head of the foundation at JFK, who was the recipient of all the funds from this fundraising, was there as judges, and the three of us. I felt like I was on Emerald. It was so neat, because they come up to you with the chili, and they present the chili in all kinds of different ways with taco chips, and they decorated they each had a station, and then they come up with their bowls, and it was really fascinating to me to see how differently people make chili. But I got to tell you, the winner, it was the most awesome chili I've ever had, and I don't even like chili, and I was going to ask him for the thing. It was River Rats, his name, forgot his last name, but he actually, he grows his own chili. He grows his chili, and he dries it, and then he has his own chili powder. He makes his own chili powder. It was just fascinating. So anyway, it was a very good thing. These are the kind of charity events. I know Russell Research, they're doing something at the Legion for him to raise money, and these are the fundraisers. She raised, Barbara Tempowski, who's Flo's sister, raised $5,216 from this one event that she worked tirelessly on to organize and present. That's going to be donated to JFK Neuroscience Institute for research with brain cancer. So kudos to these individuals in the community that make a difference this way. And kudos to whoever's organizing Russell's event too. Because it takes so much work to put some of these together. And those of us who served in the PTA, like Jackie and myself, that organize these kind of events, just take a lot of willpower and a lot of hard work. So I just want to give a shout out to Barbara because she did a great job with this, and I remember Flo, I knew her, and so it's a nice honor, in honor of her. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Marge. While you're on food, I had seen that we have a new business opening in town. Jersey Mike's is coming into the ShopRite Mall by Carvel Ice Cream, so I look forward to
In
that.
Carvel? Where Carvel was?
No, in a store over in that area.
Okay,
So look for that.
yes.
And Dawn, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay, Marge had mentioned briefly Crescent Ave. I just want to give an update. I was in contact with their business administrator this week, and he advised that they should know by the end of the month if they will have the funding to do the project. And also, they're going to have their Public Works come out and do some pothole repair again in the meantime. I know it's not a big consolation, but for now, it'll do.
Well, kudos to that. There's a citizen, I think, that lives in Crescent Park who has been very, I guess he came to one of the meetings here.
John?
Okay, John, who has gone to the East Brunswick Council meeting, who's, I guess, talked to the freeholders, because truly, it is citizen action and persistence that makes change happen. So thank you, John.
In addition, I don't know if anybody noticed as they were coming in, there's a new prescription drop-off
Yes,
box
that
in the
was good.
lobby where residents can safely dispose of their unwanted medications. And huge thanks to Chief Zarro for implementing this community service. It's going to be open 24/7. Although the doors are locked on the weekend hours and the evening hours, you could just press the buzzer, explain to the dispatcher why you're here, and they'll let you in to dispose of the medications. I also want to acknowledge the efforts of our emergency services staff, especially OEM Coordinator Jose Rivera and Deputy Coordinator Alan DeLito. We're all very happy that Hermine did not come to Spotswood, but in the event it did, we were very well prepared, and I thank Jose and Alan for their efforts.
Thank you.
Last but not least, I want to offer congratulations to our utility division employee, Kevin Bussen. He recently attained his T1 license for water treatment and his C1 license for collection. These licenses are required to operate our system, and I give him huge credit for going to school and getting the licenses for the borough.
Very good.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him.
Express our appreciation, Dawn.
He was very crucial also in helping us out with the hydrant and valve project, offering to do it in-house. He has the experience to do it, and he's willing to train the Public Works employees at the
Great.
same time.
Very good. Okay. And then we'll entertain a motion to open to the public.
Motion open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Any comments or questions on general nature? Now is the time to step up. Just state your name and address for the record. Good evening, Frank.
Good evening. I have one question, and then I'll relay a little story. All right. The ordinance, the resolution 145, I'm not sure I understand for the feasibility or HVAC systems. Can you elaborate on
The
that?
systems we have in the building are not functioning properly, and you really can't just go out to bid for a new system. It has to be designed first, and what we had really was working poorly from the moment it was installed. So in order to formulate the bids, we have to have someone design the system, study the inadequacies, what needs to be fixed, and when it's replaced, to design the specs for the bidding.
Okay, thank you. Now, let me relay the story. Ed mentioned something about senior Olympics.
Yes.
Okay, let me relay one. A few years ago, when I was active in athletics, I did participate in the Senior Olympics in Houston, Texas. And a gentleman that I used to play ball with called me and said, "Frank, I need a pitcher." I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "I just had 2 shoulder replacements." He said, "Frank, I've known you a long time. I want to put you in the roster." I said, "All right, put him out." So we did go out to Houston, Texas. These were all people from New Jersey. All right? I was the only one from Spotswood. But it was interesting that there was 9 teams out there, We played 9 games, we lost 1. We came home with a bronze medal.
Wow.
Now, the state legislature gave us proclamations for every ball player on the team. It was very interesting, very competitive. They're all good ball players. Now, I got to tell you, the age category, this was 80 and over. You had to be 80 over to play in
God
this.
bless you, Frank.
All right, so we got out there and we did it. The toughest thing to fight was the temperature. Average temperature, 115 degrees.
Oh,
All
wow.
right, it was hot.
Wow.
And then we played on asphalt to turf. You could feel the heat goes right through the rubber. Right? But it was good. It was very competitive, and it was nice that all the gentlemen we played, they're all gentlemen. There was no one out there for blood. They all wanted to play because they were ball players, and the competition was good. But I played because I want to get Jim Spotswood's name in there. So I did accomplish that part. And the rest of the people were in New Jersey. But it was fun.
Well, congratulations to you. That must have been a great experience.
It was a lot of fun and a good experience.
Very good.
Someday I'll bring it in and I'll show you the medal. It's a good medal. I think that was the story I had. But there was a lot. I used to compete a lot in the Senior Olympics. They had one up in Woodbridge. I think that's where they hold it,
The
right?
county does.
Okay. And the only one I participated was in softball. But we've had other people in this area competed in other things, shooting, pool, ping pong, and tennis. And all right, so life doesn't end at 80. So it was good. I really enjoyed it. And it's nice to see the people around the country. And you got to remember, you're playing the best teams in the country. There was 9 states represented when we were playing. Right? And we did okay. We held our own. I think we did good for spots for New Jersey, and that was the purpose, is get some names in there from New Jersey, because we were the only ones from the East Coast. All the rest of them, Texas, California, these places where they play all year round. Right? So this was really a pickup team. We went out with a dozen guys, and fortunately nobody got hurt. And that's the thing you have to be careful, especially with the heat like that. They made sure that in the dugout, every dugout had a bucket of like this cold ice water, and they said, whether you're thirsty or not, just keep drinking. and we did. And I remember one game, we had to play 4 games in one day. Right? And when I finished, I couldn't take the clothes off. It was just stuck to me. All right, but it was
Naked
worth
Olympics,
it,
huh?
especially if you win. It always feels a little nicer. So
Well, we were well represented. Thank you, Frank.
thank you. Well, it was fun. It was a pleasure to represent my state.
Thank you. Anyone else tonight?
How you doing?
Hello.
Good, how are you?
Good. 304 Brunswick Ave. I have the same problem again, report to you. Yesterday, September 6th at 10:30 a.m. on Willard Clark Circle, the triaxle wrecker was in front of his house again. He left the development later on, proceeded down Snow Hill, down Crescent, and into East Brunswick, down Cranberry Road. Now, I don't know how many more times I have to tell you about this going on. I'm tired of trying to call the police, because as I explained to you, you call up that number, you're on hold, it's like waiting to talk to the phone company.
What number?
And I've called numerous other times, and I even waited for them on a few occasions, like the house across from the library had the truck over there one other day, and by the time they even showed up, he was gone. And it seems like you get this explanation that if they can't catch him there, they can't do nothing. I have 2 witnesses on this one today, so if they want to talk to the people, they can get an affidavit. Maybe they can do something about this. And you also have another guy now deciding he's going to run a trucking company out of his garage. 2 houses down on Crescent towards the, what is that, American Legion? I think it's house number 12. I think he even has Crescent Trucking on his Mack truck in the driveway.
Knights of Columbus, you mean? Crescent Avenue?
Knights of Columbus, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
third building? Yeah, the second building, it's not there every night, but it's like weekends it's there during the week, depending on, I guess, whatever suits him also. So you
All right,
got,
Dawn's taking notes, and we'll have the code enforcer look at that.
and I had, like I said, I had talks back and forth with the police. They come down the shop, they talk to me, and it's always like, matter of fact, I had one 2 weekends ago, and he told me, wow, we've been nailing trucks left and right. I looked at him, I said, what, are you serious? I haven't seen so many trucks around my house, and I'm not talking these trucks, I'm talking chemical tankers, everything, running Old Stage Road left and right. It doesn't matter. They go into East Brunswick, they come down Brunswick Avenue still. It never changed. I don't know, are they blind, or do I have to get a camera myself, and will it be enforced then if I do it that way?
Well, I mean, we can't enforce it, we can just ask the chief to do that. I mean, we're not into
But it
enforcement.
seems like whatever goes on with you guys talking to them, if they should even have somebody here or higher up here that understands when somebody's telling the story, because I don't know if this is getting lost in the sauce or whatever, but it's just like on deaf ears. It's like never going to end.
If it's being abused that bad, you would think it would be, fairly lucrative to rein this in and make-
Exactly, because
So,
from what I understand, if they don't learn, I think it's a $500 ticket.
Yeah.
And I think one of the officers told me that a lot of the professional drivers always claim that it's always the MapQuest that puts them over there. If you turn off from Cranberry Road onto Old Stage Road, there's a sign there not more than 20 feet from the corner tells you it is not a heavy-duty truck road. It tells you the limits on it. But you sit down and you'll watch them coming down the road just like it's nothing, because they all want to cut through to go to Sayreville or down in Lower Main Street in East Brunswick, and they don't want to go down Main Street. And then on another note,
Can I ask you a question?
sure,
You've come to us probably about 8 times in the last 2 years about the trucks.
at least.
Is there a personal issue here? or is this
Positively
just
not.
a-
I'm a taxpayer. I'm not going to be paying for trucks that are ruining roads. And as a matter of fact, I was looking for the guy, and he came in tonight. I'd like to see you come up if you can. 'Cause me and you had a conversation out here one night after the other record was in. What is the soup kitchen that you were telling me about, how they ripped up the pavement? There was another record in the very beginning of this. He used to park by the greens. He would go through one of the businesses. He used to pull Beltel or something. He would pull the same thing, a triaxle wrecker. And I believe this gentleman, after we spoke, told me that the soup kitchen told him get it out of there because when he was turning, he was tearing the asphalt up. That's exactly what I've been telling everybody for 8 visits here.
Yeah.
They're too heavy trucks to be there. They don't turn. When you drive a truck like that on these kind of roads and you're at slow speeds turning, those axles, they roll over, but they twist and they rip the pavement and they do damage. That's why they're not supposed to be on there. The fire truck has to be on there. That's an emergency. Something like that, it's something. Just somebody who decides he wants to drive home to whatever, go take a squirt or say hello to the honey or whatever it is. And evidently this town, maybe it's just the truckers come onto this town because evidently you can do that here. Every time you turn around, it's another house. We had the one on Adirondack. They spoke to that guy one time, and the truck hasn't been in there ever since.
Well, I know when we
Main
mentioned,
Street by, he was parking behind Pixie Preschool. That's the one you're talking about?
Yes, exactly. It's the food bank parking lot.
Yeah, it was in the food.
Yeah.
But I believe that guy was living upstairs in that house. He was a tenant there. And if Main Street allows it, how do you tell him he can't park there?
Well, I don't know, because I got
Rest of them.
after the first meeting when I brought it up and I brought that record in to show you guys, I got into it with Kevin Mead about it because he lets him park down here on his property. And if that's good with the town or if that's zoned for parking, fine, I don't care, because that's Main Street. But I just couldn't believe that he's ever going to give me a hassle about it, like why I bothered the guy. I'm not paying. Hey, Kevin, if you want to let him do that stuff, and when he's wrecking the roads, and you're going to be telling me my tax bills are going up to be fixing water mains, sewers, or cave-ins on basins that go down, you know what? We'll ship it all over to, you guys ship it right over to him, he'll pay my portion. I'm not paying for it. They're not supposed to be there. Most towns don't let you. I think the officer that used to be here that resigned for personal reasons or whatever, he said the same thing that night. He goes, in his town, that wouldn't have went on as long as it did. They don't put up with that in East Brunswick. And I spoke to George Logan, he told me the same thing. And they've been around a long time. He said, we have We have to go on roads for accidents. We have to go on roads when the police deem us to go through to get to an accident. But we don't just run a road because we decided we want to drive our pretty truck down this road and show everybody our truck. And evidently, this guy can't get it through his head.
Well, we've mentioned it to the chief, Dawn, I know, and you can, I mean, he said, I know he asked for you to speak directly with him about this. So have you done
But
that?
see, I'm just surprised that the officer that comes and sees me all the time doesn't direct this to me, because I even said to him, have somebody come down or tell me, I'll come over here. I'm more than willing. He can come over to my house and sit and watch what goes by.
Okay.
And then on another note, I don't know if it's posted or going to be in the Sentinel or whatever, I had a theft again at my house. I had a transmission and a boat engine stolen off the side of my house again. In the middle of the day, between 7:30 in the morning after the garbage men left and 2:30. And the same thing, I call the police, it takes a half hour, 45 minutes for anybody to show up. Then they show up and I'm waiting, well, what's going to go on? I'm supposed to be talking to a detective. I still haven't talked to anybody like that. I spoke to an officer who came out and wrote the initial stuff down, but my point is, why isn't this posted to let the residents, not on these Facebook pages, because not everybody goes on those, why isn't it posted in a regular newspaper of thefts that go on around here?
When did this happen?
2 Thursdays ago, on garbage day.
Does anybody else live in your house that's your age, a guy your age?
A friend of mine comes over to my house, he's like my brother.
I did see someone wandering around your property.
Oh, no, he
when I
parks
drove
on the
by.
side too, yeah, they know him, most of the police even know him. Yeah, that's just a friend of mine from East Brunswick, but like I said, this has been going on. To date, I've had over 7 things stolen off the side of my house, not to count the outdrive stolen off my boat in my driveway 3 years ago.
Sorry, that's terrible.
Especially in the main street.
Oh, well, the real terrible part was after I brought the outdrive deal to the police and showed them that there was a guy incarcerated right in the workhouse who has a known record for stealing outdrives and outboard motors and everything else, and they actually caught him after the Hurricane Sandy from Sayreville. I said, him and his cousin are in the workhouse right now. I had inside information from a policeman that I knew that knew the whole story. I saw them in court here one night. I said, did you get over to the workhouse to talk to the man? Because I hear he's spilling his guts. He wants out. He's turning the information over that it was one of the relatives. Some week later, never got over there. Never heard nothing, never seen a thing about it. So this could have been a guy, possibly, that if they would have questioned, maybe something could have came of it.
Well, the newspapers don't do much publishing on little incidents anymore, but, the police department have their own Facebook page. I know I don't use it either, but if you want to check that, I mean, that's an area where they post regular incidents to keep posted on just what's happening around town.
And then last and not least, I know we spoke about this one other time, and I think they're done with it now. They did that water interconnect across from my house. I don't care how much he's graded it. I don't care how much he's looked at it. If you look at a computer generation, drive from Rayfields and come towards my house, and you tell me what that looks like, looking over at my house and that morphodite sticking out of the ground. You got interstate, whoever cast the thing, sticking up out of the ground, and you got all those boxes and everything else over there. Are they going to put trees or shrubs around there? We talked about this, that they were going to look into it. Did anybody come up with anything that we're going to hide the thing a little bit, or?
I look at that when I go by, and the pad seems to be the least of it. You got the 2 large vertical boxes sticking there as well. So let me talk to the administration, see what we can do with that. I don't know how much we can plant that you're allowed to obstruct it, but
The one box was there for the light for years, so I don't know if I'm used to that or it blended in, but with this other one, it's like the whole thing stands out like a sore thumb when you come up to
very
it.
shiny aluminum. Yeah.
So, all right, that's it.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Come on up, Dean.
How you doing, everybody? Dean Schleicher, 68 Alcohol. Just to clarify, what he's talking about is, it was the food bank at the Reformed Church. He wasn't technically the tenant. He was living with the tenant who, at the time, that was there at the time. And what had happened was the back of the parking lot where he was parking the truck had started to collapse. That's why they asked him to please park somewhere else, which I believe he went down Main Street.
Well, no, that's different.
I'm not sure where he ended up going to, but he hasn't been back since then. So I think that's what you're really concerned about, because it's collapsing. The weight of the trucks are collapsing some of the pavement.
Well, those little parking lots behind buildings are not very
Yeah,
thick asphalt. You
honestly,
drive a truck on that
I
a
was
few
surprised.
times.
They let him do it for a while,
Yeah.
and when they realized that the parking lot was starting to sag a little bit, we ended up with a big gully, and it just happened to be where the two tandem axles were sitting.
I'll do it.
So, no, just to clarify what he was talking about, that's what I had talked to him about. So yes, they did ask him to leave because, and it was the food bank, not the kitchen.
Okay,
Just so you guys know, okay? And thank you very much.
okay. Good evening.
Good evening, I'm Carol Chasen, and I'd like to thank Mr. Seeley for addressing the 9/11 issue, but I really think it's too late. How are the people, especially the seniors, going to be notified of this? And at 7 o'clock on a Sunday night, I don't see too many of them driving through town. The Sentinel is already published.
Well, the Sentinel's maybe already published, but I already know that it's being put on Facebook as I sit right here. It's being
Most of them
put on
don't even have a
Twitter.
computer.
It's being put on as many things as I can. I'm doing the best I can.
I
with it.
realize you're doing something, but all I'm saying now is I think it's a little too late. It should have been thought about sooner, and even if it was thought about sooner and you made the announcement last night while you were there at the meeting, that would have been good. The liaison came to the meeting and said, we're going to do something, but nobody saw anybody, and nobody said anything until last night. Unfortunately, you got barreled with it all. And I just think it's a shame. I think as Americans, we should all hang our head in shame. Look around, as I said last night, all the other areas have something going. Spotswood had nothing. And that to me was an embarrassment. And I had people at the meeting asking me, are they having anything? I said, I don't know. No, I didn't see anything in the paper, they didn't either. I just think it was too late. Maybe we could keep it in mind for future things coming up. It was great that you addressed it, and I thank you for it, but I do think it's just too late. That's it.
We'll give it a chance, see what happens. Thanks.
Hopefully something will.
Too late now.
Anyone else tonight? If not, oh. Oh, Steve.
Steve Chasen, 14 Beth Court. I just want to bring two things that were talked about tonight, the food bank and Marge's idea of charity. The last, I think, 4 years, the council's had the pancake breakfast for the food bank.
8 years, maybe.
8 years?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how many meetings it takes you guys to set a date, but Kurt, you come to me every year at like 11 days and put my feet to the fire for sponsorship, to sell tickets, everything else. Can we get something set up? Can you guys get something set up?
We already spoke about it several meetings ago.
You did?
Yeah, we have the date
When is
set.
it?
I was going to get to you.
Sunday, October 23rd.
Yes,
The 23rd?
Yep.
Okay. Are we going to get tickets again?
yes.
Do you know when?
I hope to have them to you shortly.
Shortly? Okay. Just, it seems like every year we just seem to get it like last
You know, the
minute.
summer's over and it does hit very quickly, yep.
I'd like to take the tickets to GBC, to football games. I tried last year, but we didn't get them till the day after the last game. You know, there's a big Spotswood game on Saturday, Spotswood and South River. You know, we can sell them there. I was able to sell 94 last year in 11 days out of 300. If you can get us 300 to 500, maybe we can sell 300 or 500. I think out of the 94 that I sold last year, like 4 people came, my parents.
Steve, you've always been a great
So-
Yes,
supporter of
yep.
that event. so
But we
thank
should
you.
get, you know, if we can get more tickets and even get them out to other people, maybe put them on other businesses' shelves. My business has changed, it's been sold, so I don't have as much free time to get out to actually do it this year. I will do it, I will try to get as much as I can, but the more lead time we have, the sooner we can get tickets, the sooner we can get started. I mean, Kurt, I come to your house every year, like on Thursday at 10 o'clock at night.
I know.
And you're up until whenever doing the placemats. Let's try to get it.
Well, I was going to try to get you some help on the placemats this year. I was going to try to have you do the tickets, and my wife was going to try to go around, because I know you were so tough with time.
It's tougher for me now. Our business was sold, so we're part of another group, so it is harder for me to get out during the day
Right.
to do the placemat part of it, but the ticket part, you know, I can even
Appreciate
hand them
that.
off to different people. I think that's really where our money's concerned.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
if we can sell 200 tickets at whatever you're going to have at $7 or $8, people don't come. But they're embarrassed
They're
not to buy a
missing
ticket.
something
Yeah, it's
because
good food.
it's great food.
It is great food, and they are missing something, but we don't want to miss their money. We don't care
That's
if they
right.
come or not. Just give us your
That's right,
money.
because it all
You know
goes
what I
to the
mean?
food pantry.
And you ask someone to buy a ticket for, you know, for the food bank, they're going to buy it. Nobody's going to turn you down.
Yeah.
You know, the
Well,
people that I asked last year,
you're
nobody
good.
turned me down. No one's going to say, no, I don't want to give money to a food bank. So
You're a
get
good
their money
salesman.
whether they show up or they don't. you know, but let's get their money while we still can. The longer we have, the more money we can.
I have to wait till the schools were in session because they do our printing, so, you know, that was a little bit of delay, but we're working on it now. I already have the poster made, and we're just working on tickets.
Okay,
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you,
So let me
Steve.
know, contact me. All right?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Frank, you can give another shot?
Still say we gotta get a traveling mic.
I don't miss too many meetings, and when I come here and I hear the same story over and over again, I feel embarrassed, and you should be embarrassed. And we have a scorekeeper, 8 times this situation happened, and nothing is being done. Aren't you guys embarrassed?
Frank, there's a separation between enforcement and what we do, and the police department handles that, and we can't make them write tickets. We tell them we want them to. We certainly transfer his
doesn't work.
concerns, but that's their job.
I know, I'm not trying to do their job, but your job is to get the problem resolved. It's not getting resolved.
Well, we also don't have the type of police force. I mean, what do we have, 2, 3 people on the road at times? So it's very difficult. He sees things that they don't see, and if they're tied up, it can take time to get there.
What do you get? What kind of response do you get when you tell them about the situation? Does it give you an answer that makes sense?
I mean, we have all conveyed our concerns to the chief to ask him to address this. And I don't know, Dawn, have you gotten any other input as to why this is such a struggle?
Every time there's a concern, I believe Patrolman DeRozier has come out to see you many a times and has asked you to report it when you see it.
And I wonder if it's just because we're friends and I know him. It's like, I don't want it just smoothed over. I want the problem remedied.
Absolutely.
And if people are that stupid in this town, and I say that wherever the cameras, if you're that stupid and you want to keep paying bills because some guy wants to drive a truck, you know what? I'm going to go to work for a crane company, and I'm going to bring a 55-ton Grove crane home and park it. Which we did have a guy on Old Stage Road do that many years ago.
I'm not trying to point the finger at the policemen or you people, but, you know, it has to get resolved. It has to get resolved. We can't sit here and 2 months, 3 months from now, we have the same problem over and over again. I mean, it's not your responsibility to make sure the problem gets resolved?
And that's what we do. We give our concerns, but we are completely separate from enforcement with the police department. And we can tell them what we want, and there is never 100% compliance on anything. People see things that they don't see. I mean, we see that on the roads where people do things we wish you could have them arrested for. And he sees things that they just don't happen to see at the moment. But they have other concerns in this town. Unfortunately, it's not their only concern, and these things do slip by where he sees it and they don't. So, you know, I think they're doing the best they can with the amount of staffing that they have. I don't think they're ignoring it, but it's just not something that, I think they have other issues that they're working on.
Oh, are you saying we don't have enough people?
You will never have enough people. It's always a compromise. We can't afford to have what we would need to be 100% compliant.
Get away with. Other towns seem to have a pretty good control.
Well, we don't know that, Frank. I mean, you know.
He has things being stolen from the side of his house.
I know, well, that's not good either.
Things are happening, and they happen all over, and we don't know all the things that happen even, but they are busy. There's drug issues, and they have important things they're doing. And if something slips by, he'll see it, and he'll say, boy, don't they see that? Well, he sees it. It's something that is very important to him to watch for, but they don't happen to see it at the time. They don't drive down Willard Clark and see it in his driveway. I mean, how often,
You have to understand, we're sitting out there, we don't know what's going on. The police are on top of all these, I'm assuming, all right? I think they should be able to come back with some information that gives some justification why this is not getting resolved.
Well, maybe we'll ask the chief, and maybe he can come in and give us an idea of what he's dealing with.
I hope there's some good reasons, you
Yep.
know. I'm sure he has good reasons, all right, but it's a secret. We don't know that. Tell us in on it, you know. Let's be transparent.
I mean, we're not going to have a perfect society where we have 100% compliance. But yes, this happening on a continuing basis with the same person, that should be able to be addressed.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
No one else? Oh,
One more thing. I'm just sitting here listening. There is a neighborhood watch program, and I would strongly recommend that everybody contact. I believe it's Lieutenant Genovese that is running it with Detective Hoover. Is that true? Am I correct on? If you send out an email to them, or just drop them a line, give them your email, they send out daily emails on when meetings take place. And when you go to the meetings, you can inform them of what's taking place, and they can give you an update on everything that's happening in Spotswood. I strongly recommend, these are all issues that can be brought up at the Neighborhood Watch meeting, where it might have more of an effect than coming to the council meeting. Because you know, like you guys say, you guys get the news and you pass it on, and it goes through a whole channel. By going to the Neighborhood Watch meeting, you can take it directly to the police department. And I've been taking part of it since the day they started with Chris Bierman. He's not with the department anymore, he retired. But it's a great program, and it really keeps you informed on everything that's taking place, like what you got hit with the, having stuff taken from the side of the house.
What gets me,
There has been quite a few.
do here in town, like I live on Brunswick Avenue too, right in front of my house on Brunswick Avenue. You had some drug balls in the backyard over by the Borough Yard stealing lawn equipment out of the person's shed. And they caught them.
Yeah.
That should be something to me, as a homeowner and a person, everybody I know, I make sure.
Well, unfortunately, your newspapers don't print up everything the way they used to. That's why the police department has turned to social media, because, like you said, newspapers just aren't. Your police blotters are getting smaller and smaller every year.
The only other thing too.
And it's a shame, and it's not the police department. They can report it to the newspaper. The newspaper makes the choice of what they're going to put in there and what they don't. And unless it's like, you know, something really major to them, it's not going to get printed. That's why they've started the Neighborhood Watch program. That's why they've started Facebook and all the social media stuff, to try and help get more messages out to people. And you're right, unfortunately people don't. But just to clarify, so everybody understands, we do have Neighborhood Watch, and if I believe it's Genovese and
I know, because on my corner, I'm Neighborhood Watch. I watch all my
That,
neighbors. I have no problem going over, I see a guy in somebody's house saying, who the hell are you? And get the plate number right
yeah, I
back.
do the
If something
same thing.
happens, I know who to
Deputize
give
it.
You know, I do the same thing. You know, when I signed up with the Neighborhood Watch, I kind of became the Neighborhood Watch for my street as well. So I just want to clarify to everybody, if you're having issues that, like legal issues, stuff like that, try and get in touch with the police department, find out when the meetings are, and they'll tell you. And I believe there's one, correct me if I'm wrong, Dawn, the 21st?
I think so, either September 20th or 21st.
I believe he said it was the 21st, right here in this courtroom of this month. And Genovese is going to be the one running it.
But the other amazing thing is how long...
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
How many miles long is Old Stage Road?
Come
sorry?
on, back up, Tom.
And East Brunswick takes care of Old Stage Road just like we do, right?
Yes.
So you mean to tell me in that police department and ours combined, there's not a cop ever on that road to see a truck go by? I witnessed on our own Brunswick Avenue, them doing radar to catch Mrs. McGillicuddy going 2 miles an hour over the speed limit. And here's a liquor truck that you could tell, you don't have to even know trucks, you could tell this truck loaded with liquor is overweight, and he's driving right past him, but he's looking for somebody going 2 miles an hour over. What's the point of that? And if the Bank of America gets robbed, the police go right over there, don't they? Well, I call them when I see these things, and I'm waiting an hour later. Where's the truck? He's out in Cranberry. I chased the guy one time from in front of Brian's lawnmower, went through our whole town, and spit diesel oil over every street. And I showed DeRozier, but it was already too late because I couldn't get in touch with anybody. You know where the guy ended up finally breaking down? In front of the Cannon building on 522. And it was diesel all over. Every town was diesel covered.
Yeah.
That's a truck driver. Ed was a truck driver, right? If your truck's leaking fuel, what do? You stop and you get it repaired or towed. But that's what's out there today. Oh, I can drive a truck, you know, look at me.
All right, Tom, let's see if we can get you an answer.
I don't think we want to know everything that goes on. I'm sure the police handle most of that. They do a good job at it, all right? You gotta pick and choose which is the serious ones and take care of those.
Yep.
We'll be all right.
Okay. That's it. Entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next meeting, September 19th. Thank you all for coming out.